Okay, guys, hello and welcome to this course, which I called English&Film Lab. Thanks for joining me. What are we going to do today? So this is a kind of our agenda. First, I will introduce myself just to let you know who you are dealing with. Then I hope you can introduce yourselves. Then I will say a few words about the course, the breakdown of the course, answer some of the questions which you might have. And then we will introduce the subject for today, which is Loglines. So this is basically what everything starts with. And then in the next session, we'll go into more details. So let's just do it without any further ado. And who am I? Some of you may know me. Some of you may even have worked with me on certain projects. My name is Alexey Yuriev. I'm a screenwriter, story editor, and consultant with, well, several years, 10 plus years of experience behind my back. My education is what we call in Russian VKSR, which I graduated from in 2012. And since then, I have written a certain number of short films, feature films, and TV shows. Some of them have been sold, some of them have been optioned, a few have been produced, some even won some awards. So this is some of my filmography and some of my awards. In the picture, I'm the one on the right, standing next to Oleg Malavichka, who you all may know pretty well. So that's me. Okay, and that's also me. So I have also written a handful of plays, which were also recognized with some awards, and some were read on stage, some were published. And also I have worked as a staff story editor in the production company Sreda, who you also may know, and also some of you even worked with or for that company. So that's a few of the projects, among others, that I made. And the last but not least, although English is not my native language, which you can hear in my accent, I have a background as a translator and interpreter, a PhD in philology, and I have worked a lot with foreign filmmakers and productions. So I believe and I hope that all of this give me the right and the privilege to share some of my knowledge with you guys. Okay, so that's me. What about you? Let's just talk about you. Could you please introduce yourself, saying your name, your background or professional experience, and I think most importantly, what brought you to this course? What are your expectations from this course? So, who'd like to start? Okay, thanks everybody. I think we can proceed and talk a little bit about what to expect. So this is kind of an overview of the course. We will have 12 sessions, which will be held like today, online on Monday and Thursday, same time. The split between me talking and you talking will largely depend on you guys. So approximately it's 70-30, but again, if you are more active, if you have more questions, if you would like to discuss something, the division may be different. It may be 60-40. So it's up to you. Okay, so what is the goal? What is the objective of the course is to A, introduce the essentials of screenwriting. So basically, all the major terms and definitions which is used in the British and American industry, such as beat sheet, outline, Bible, etc., etc. And also practice spoken English and have the proficiency in utilizing this terminology. So be able to use it, understand it, understand the difference. So that's two main objectives. When thinking who is this course for, I imagine that's largely for screenwriters, filmmakers, and producers who may have some experience in their native language, but would like to have more experience in learning, in studying different documents, different terminology in foreign language. So that's what we're gonna do. And this is the breakdown of the course. So this is exactly what we're going to discuss during our sessions. The first two sessions are gonna be devoted to Loglines. Today we will introduce the general idea and look at some examples. In session 2, we'll have more examples. We'll have more information about structure of Loglines, what's good for Loglines, what's not so good for Loglines. We will also take a look at the so-called black list of last year. So what blacklist is, we're going to talk about a little bit later. And then in the following sessions, we are going to proceed with basically the order in which you develop different projects. So starting from logline to more and more comprehensive documents such as Bible, synopsis, treatment. We'll talk about the difference between these documents. We'll talk about such things as beat sheet, outline. Again, what's the difference between them? Session 7 is going to be just a disclaimer, very technical, because we will take a look at the formatting of a screenplay, at the main elements of a screenplay, which some of you may or may not know. So what's slug line? How do you format a slug line, etc., etc. And then we'll talk about different types of characters and what is the best ways to introduce your character. So for the audience to like your character, for the audience to empathize with your character. We'll talk about different structures, types of structures, such as 3-act structures, 5-act structures, the hero's journey. We'll talk about different myths of screenplay structures. And then session 10 is actually, I think, one of my favorite sessions. It is about, I believe, one of the most unappreciated topics, such as theme. I think that's really important to bear in mind, what the theme and idea of your story is, and we'll talk about this at length. What's the difference between theme and idea? What's the value in your story, etc., etc. Session 11 will be devoted to dialogue. So what makes a good dialogue? So do you really need to study dialogue to write a good dialogue? So spoiler, yes, it doesn't hurt. We'll talk about subtext, why subtext is important, and how do you get subtext into your dialogue. And session 12 will be about pitching your idea. So session 3 is pitch sheet which is a written pitch. And session 12 will talk about how to present your idea in the best way possible. So to get those in charge or those who are making decision like your idea. So what do you do to get them excited, to get them interested? So that's pretty much the course. All right, so today we are going to talk a little bit about Loglines, and we'll introduce the concept of Loglines, but just to make what I referred earlier, this division between me talking and you talking, to have this division a little bit more equal. Maybe someone would like to share their idea of Loglines. So what do you know about Loglines? Have you written one? So what do you think is the recipe for a good logline? So if anyone has something to share, please feel free to do that. Okay, thanks for sharing. So yeah, you're right. That's a brief summary. There are some gurus, screenwriting gurus, that say it should be around such and such number of words, like 30, 35, but generally it's just like 1 or 2 sentences. If it's 3, I don't think you're gonna be killed. It's just, but the main idea is just make these sentences exciting and make them reflect what your story is really about. So make them stand out. And often it is used as a marketing tool. It is used as a tool to pitch the show. And I agree with Max, you can be as lucky as to have your show sold. Probably these cases are very rare when you just sold the show based on a mere logline. I know of such cases. I mean, we'll talk about them a little bit later. But that's the first step, at least. It's the first step to get, again, those who are making decision, producers, director, so anybody in charge, interested and wanting to read more. So if they like the loglines, they might say, okay, get me the pilot. I want to read the pilot or anything. So that's a good starting point. So how does a perfect or a good logline look like? Ideally, it should include protagonist, antagonist, main conflict, and the stakes involved in the story. That's the basic structure. It can look differently, but this is some of the formula which are used more often than not. We will see a lot of examples today, and next time you'll see that many of the, at least Western writers, they kind of follow these guidelines. Okay, so now let's take a look at some examples, and just in order to us again just practice more English and just have fun, I'll show you some loglines without the name of the project, and our goal is to A, name the project, and B, just share thoughts and ideas, what we think about this or that logline, what's working, what's not working, what could be improved. So this is the first one. We'll start with easy guesses. So a high school chemistry teacher diagnosed with inoperable lung cancer turns to manufacturing and selling methamphetamine to secure his family's future. Wow.
Oh, the easy one. Yeah.
That's tough. That's very tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it the real logline? Or you did
This is Breaking Bad, guys. You know, that's like piece of cake. This is Breaking Bad one.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
You want to bet your house on it?
A house? I wish I had one.
Okay, but what do we think about this logline? So does it work? Does it work, or if not, or if there's something wrong with it, what is it that you would change? or it's perfectly fine?
I think it's good logline. I think so.
I think so too, because it's very clear, you know, what it's about.
I agree. Absolutely.
Okay, unanimously.
Uh,
Sold.
Ah,
Okay, so let's move on to a different one. When a young boy disappears, his mother, a police chief, and his friends must confront terrifying supernatural forces in order to get him back. Mm,
Mhm. Stranger Things.
okay.
I think good it is or bad.
I think it's a little bit like descriptive and it's not involving enough. So it's,
Mhm.
to me, it's missing some emotions in it.
You're not hooked, yeah?
Mhm. A little bit like about the process, you know, than about like get touched with this situation.
Mm-hmm. But did you see the show?
What is the
Stranger
name of the
Things.
show?
Stranger Things.
Yeah, I saw it.
So what would you change then? How would you make it to be more engaging, more emotional? What would you introduce?
I don't know, but you know, it's easy to criticize it.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that this log. Pardon? Can I? Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I think this logline doesn't show us the main characters, the heroes, the protagonists. It's a little размытый. Сорян.
Blurry, generic.
Yes, a little.
Mhm.
I think so, and I think it's at first about friendship, about youth, about young men. But
Right.
I don't read this in this logline.
Okay, but actually, they do have a great Bible, which
Yes,
which we'll study at one of later sessions.
yes, it's called Mantok.
Yeah,
Was-
yeah,
title.
exactly. All right, so what else? We don't have anything else. Cool. So there were a lot of log lines. Next time there will be even more log lines. Yay. So next time we'll talk about more log lines. We'll talk about log line formulas and structures, what log lines are made of. But for now, we have home assignment. People love home assignments.
Yes.
Do they? All right, don't be scared. It's not that difficult. So the task for the next session would be to go through the log lines in the Blacklist 2022 and just take a look at their format, their structure, and be ready to talk about them next time. In case you have no idea what the Blacklist is. Blacklist. It's the annual survey. So annual document with a lot of log lines. That's the log lines of the most popular unproduced screenplays in Hollywood. Every year, film executives vote for the log line, not for the log lines, but for the screenplays they liked. They have their voting, and they put out a document with log lines for the best screenplays. So every year they do that, and they have some of the best writers, up-and-coming writers, interesting screenplays, and some good log lines. Not necessarily, but often. So, and our job would be to go through the list, through this blacklist, and just find something which might be of use for us. I will upload this document. Dmitry, you sent something to our chat, a link to.
I get this as it.
I
get
will
this as a
upload.
list.
Don't worry. Thank you for your job. I will upload it to our Telegram group. So if you want, you can use this link, or I will upload the document. So yep. And next time we'll discuss, I think, the most interesting ones. Last time with previous group, we discussed the log lines which made it to the top, but they are not necessarily the most interesting ones in terms of log lines. So I think I'll find just the most interesting, in my opinion. And when you read, just find the ones you love, and just we'll discuss whether we agree on that. Okay, what else? So this is something which you don't need to do necessarily. I think most of these films and TV series you have watched some time ago. This is just something that we will be referring to as we go along. So some films and some TV shows and TV series. So I think you know most of them. If you don't, that's not a problem. That's fine. But just if you want to come fully prepared, so this is something we're going to be discussing. All right. So, yep, I think that's it for today. Thank you guys for coming. Yep, that's a wrap.